Your money's disappearing faster than a politician's memory under oath. Rent? Sky high. Groceries? Holding you hostage. Wages? Still stuck in traffic back in 2012. And while you're doing mental gymnastics over whether you can afford eggs and gas this week, Washington's out here cosplaying Monopoly with real money. And none of it's landing in your lap. So, the trillion-dollar question. Where the hell is it all going? Because if your wallet feels like a crime scene, you're not paranoid, you're just in the blast radius. Stick around. By the end of this, you'll know exactly who's eating filet mignon while you're doing math over canned beans. Okay, picture this. You walk into a diner in 1940. You order eggs, toast, coffee. Bill comes 35 cents. Today, try $25 and a side of existential dread. So what happened? Debt happened. First came the wars. We gotta stop the bad guys, they said. And boom, open bar for defense contractors. Then came the Great Depression. We gotta save Main Street. So we threw money like it grew on the same apple trees that went Dust Bowl dry. And every time the country flinched, we reached for the checkbook. Korea, Vietnam, oil crisis, housing crash, COVID. Every emergency, swipe it. The government basically became that guy who keeps refinancing his house to buy another flat screen. And nobody asked who's footing the bill until the bill showed up. And guess what? It's got your name on it. First big bang. 1971. Nixon walks up to the gold standard and goes, "It's not you, it's me." Boom. The dollar breaks up with reality. From that moment on, money was just paper with a confidence problem. And Uncle Federal Reserve started hitting Control P, like a college kid printing essays 10 minutes before class. Then the 80s rolled in like a Wall Street Coke party. Reagan shows up. We'll cut taxes and spend big. Wait, you're telling me revenue goes down, spending goes up, and somehow the math will fix itself? Sure. And I'm the Queen of England. 2008? Wall Street plays hot potato with garbage mortgages. They blow up the economy, and instead of jail time, they get a bailout buffet. Too big to fail really meant too rich to suffer consequences. And just when you thought we'd learned, COVID. We printed so much cash the money printer started wheezing. PPP loans, stimulus checks, corporate lifelines. And guess what? You got $1,200. They got private jets. Every phase, the pattern's the same. More debt, bigger promises, smaller returns for the little guy. The printer, the myth, the illusion of limits. Ever notice how Congress freaks out over the debt ceiling and then just raises it every single time? Yeah, it's not a ceiling, it's a stage prop. Drama for the cameras, backroom deals for the insiders. They say, we can't borrow more. Then, borrow more. That's like a guy with 10 max credit cards begging for another increase. Not to save his business, but to throw another party. And who keeps this whole circus spinning? The Federal Reserve. Not federal, no reserves. Just one magic button. Print. They call it quantitative easing. Sounds like a yoga class. What it really means, huh? They inject trillions into the system, and your paycheck gets diluted like cheap vodka at a college bar. Groceries? Up. Rent? Up. Your savings? Eroding like beachfront property in a hurricane. And here's the kicker. You never voted for the Fed. But they decide how hard you get squeezed. They borrow, they print, they inflate, and you carry the hangover. You ever sign a loan you didn't agree to? Because you did. You, me, everyone, we've been co-signed into the biggest IOU in human history. Trillions borrowed in our name. And nobody even passed the pen. And what do we get for it? No bullet trains, no debt-free college, not even decent Wi-Fi on the subway. We were told this was stimulus, but it feels more like an empty Amazon box that cost us our kids' future. Because here's what actually showed up. Wages shrinking faster than your fridge at midnight. Student debt so big it qualifies for statehood. Homeless camps 1 block from penthouses. Prices up, hope down. They didn't invest in the future. They mortgaged it. You're not broke because you're lazy. You're broke because someone spent your raise, your dream vacation, your peace of mind, before you ever got the chance. It's like ordering filet mignon for the whole table and leaving you with the dishwashing bill. Alright, forget Wall Street for a second. Let's talk Main Street. Because while the suits print fake money and call it growth, real people are playing survival mode on hard difficulty. It's not a recession anymore. It's a full-blown financial hostage situation. That emergency credit card, maxed. Groceries, you need a payment plan for peanut butter. And rent, let's just say, landlords sleep great. Oh, and guess what? In a $25 trillion economy, 70% of folks are living like the next paycheck is a lifeboat. Spoiler, half of them are already in the water. It's not that people can't swim, it's that someone keeps adding weights. They say the system's too big to fail. No, you're too small to matter, and that's the scam. While politicians debate billion-dollar line items, you're budgeting toothpaste. And while regular folks are out here juggling 3 jobs, dodging student loan emails, and pretending payday is a personality trait, guess who's still getting champagne service on a government tab? Zombie companies. I'm talking about those bloated, broke corporations that should have flatlined years ago, but they keep limping along like extras from The Walking Dead. Why? Because the Fed handed out cheap money like it was Halloween candy. 0% interest rates? That wasn't a lifeline, that was a resurrection spell. These companies aren't profitable. They're not competitive, they're not innovating. They're just servicing debt and collecting bailouts, like corporate vampires sucking cash out of the system while everyone else bleeds. And here's the kicker. While these dinosaurs get propped up with fresh injections of printed money, real innovators, the little guys, get crushed. You've got small businesses, bootstrapping every penny, getting rejected for loans, watching interest rates climb like a roller coaster with no brakes. Meanwhile, Chad Corp over here, which hasn't turned a profit since Obama had black hair, just raised another $300 million at a $2 billion valuation. That's not capitalism, that's a rigged stage play. And the actors, who forgot their lines, are still getting standing ovations. And don't forget the jobs. These zombie companies, they aren't hiring, they're not building. They're laying off quietly while fluffing their stock prices with buybacks. But you're told to work harder, reskill, pivot to tech. Bro, the game isn't just rigged, it's scripted. The economy is a haunted house, and behind every door, another fake company wearing the mask of growth, while their balance sheet looks like a crime scene. And guess who's footing the bill for this horror show? You, the taxpayer, the consumer. The average person just trying to afford rent and get their kid into school without selling a kidney. So, America's drowning? Yeah, but the rest of the world's doing cannonballs in the same pool. Welcome to the international debt circus. They keep pointing fingers like it's just a US meltdown, but look around. This isn't a local fire, it's a global inferno, and every government's holding a gas can. Top 10 countries by total national debt. USA, $36.5 trillion. China, $16-17 trillion. Japan, $10 trillion. France, $3.5 trillion. Italy, $3.2 trillion. UK, $3.1 trillion. Germany, $2.9 trillion. India, $2.5 trillion. Brazil, $1.7 trillion. Canada, $1.6 trillion. These are the whales. The too big to fail gang, with overdrafts the size of planets. Top 10 countries by debt to GDP ratio. The real red flag, how deep in the hole they are compared to what they actually produce. Sudan, 252%. Japan, 248%. Singapore, 175%. Greece, 150%. Italy, 139%. Maldives, 133%. Bahrain, 130%. USA, 122%. Laos, 118%. France, 115%. And here's the twist. Japan, yeah, it owes 2.5 times its GDP. But it borrows from itself, from its own citizens. Sudan, that 252%, that's a nation in full-blown economic cardiac arrest. And the US, sitting comfy at 122%, acting like the prom king while holding a maxed-out Amex. This isn't strategy anymore. It's survival theatre. They're not building schools and bridges. They're duct-taping cracks in a sinking cruise ship. The global economy? It's not running on innovation or exports anymore. It's running on IOUs and improv. So what happens when the music stops? When buyers turn into sellers? When countries stop trusting each other's money? That's when the rest of us, the non-billionaire, non-bailout crowd, feel the punch. Groceries climb. Housing disappears. Jobs evaporate like it's magic. This is the backdrop for what's coming next, because if the global debt game's breaking down, some countries aren't waiting to be taken down with it. They're building their exit. Alright, listen. You made it this far and I get it. You're tired. Tired of the rigged game. Tired of running faster just to fall behind. You want to know if there's a way out. Well, guess what? There is. It's not a magic door. It's not a secret club. It's a protocol. A chain. A damn digital rebellion with receipts. I'm talking Bitcoin. Yeah, I know. Oh, isn't that internet money scammers pitch at barbecues? Wrong. That's fiat fear talking. That's what they want you to think. Here's what they won't tell you. Bitcoin has a hard cap of 21 million. No central bank, no Jerome printer go brrr pow waking up on a Tuesday and deciding to dilute your life savings. No middlemen. No banker in a pinstripe suit rubber stamping your transactions like he's Caesar deciding if you eat today. No permission needed. You don't need a credit score, a LinkedIn profile, or a smiley face selfie with your passport to move your own damn money. No trust required. The system runs on code, math, finality, not promises from politicians with $200 haircuts and $2 morals. Now look, I'm not here selling hopium. Bitcoin's not perfect. It's volatile, it's early, and yes, the road is full of potholes and Ponzi schemes. But here's the thing, it's the only exit door they haven't welded shut. It's not just about flipping coins for Lambo dreams, it's about sovereignty. It's about having one tool, one shot that isn't wrapped in red tape and Wall Street fingerprints. So you can keep playing the fiat game. Or you can learn the rules of the next one. Because this system, it doesn't care about your hustle. It cares about control. Bitcoin, it doesn't care about your identity. It cares about truth. You were never lazy. You were leveraged. They just never gave you a seat at the table. Time to flip it over. Welcome to the real exit. So here's how we'll wrap this up. You're not crazy. You're not lazy. You're not bad with money. You're in a rigged game with shifting rules, invisible taxes, and economic landmines buried under your every paycheck. But now, you see the pattern. And when you can see the pattern, you can step outside it. They want you overwhelmed. They want you drowning in bills, scrolling in silence and blaming yourself. But you know better now. You know where the money actually goes. You know the debt isn't your fault, it's strategic confusion. You know Bitcoin and crypto aren't just memes and moon boys, they're exit tools. And here's the kicker. The game isn't ending, it's just upgrading. The only question is, will you be stuck in patch 1.0, begging for a bailout? Or will you start stacking blocks while the world's still arguing about the rules? You don't need permission to protect your future. You don't need a finance degree to see what's broken. You just need the guts to ask, what if there's another way? And you just found it. Stick around. We're not done. Next time, we go deeper. Because once you've seen behind the curtain, there's no going back. All right, folks, we've seen the wreck. The national debt's doing backflips, zombie companies are limping through the streets, and the whole economy's got that 3-day-old sushi vibe. So, what do you do when the ship you're on is heading for an iceberg and the captain's busy taking selfies? You don't wait for the crash, you look for a lifeboat. Next episode, we talk about that lifeboat. Bitcoin, digital freedom, money that's yours, not theirs. We're pulling out the real numbers. How many people are already in the game? How much profit's been made? And why, for millions, crypto isn't just a buzzword. It's the plan. From hedge fund hotshots to a kid in Argentina mining coins under his bed, we'll track the global map of who's in, who's winning, and who's praying you never find out why they're so scared of it. If you miss the next one, don't come crying to me when you're standing in a bread line, watching some guy pay for a coffee with a Bitcoin he bought for lunch money. You'll either be in the story, or you'll be reading about it. Your call, amigo.